Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As ever, you can find me over on Instagram at the House of Langford and at Overall Sews. I'm also on Ravelry at Mad X Stitcher. And it's time for another monthly roundup, and this time it's everything I got up to in March. So March was supposed to be monogamous March, and I was also supposed to be working on my 100-day project. My plans for the month were to work on the Mighty Samurai as my 100-day project, work on the Magic Carpet Throw, cow, finish the baby booties that I started, and potentially make a mandala. Now, I've only done a little bit on the Mighty Samurai, and I have done nothing else on my list of plans. Whilst I'm here, there is a Ko-fi account linked to this podcast if you want to support the podcast. There is also a Facebook group and page. All the details will be down below for you. And I am a textiles teacher. I'm multi-craft drawer, and this is mainly my little podcast of my making journey, things that I've done over the month. It's usually mostly just crochet at the moment, but there are things like cross stitch, and this month there is some knitting as well. Now, before moving into what I got up to this month in terms of my finishes, my whips, and of course acquisitions, because I clearly cannot stop spending money, I wanted to talk to you about a new make along which is happening this year. Now, Gemma of the Midnight Diary suggested we start this make along because I have been working on the mosaic, a mosaic blanket, which is the Magic Carpet Throw, which is a slightly different technique to your normal standard granny square or granny stripe or the neat ripple that I did last year. And we've also got things like the Sophie's Universe blanket going on, or the Charlotte's Universe blanket. So we now have a new make along. Now, Gemma has asked if myself and Sophie of A Spring Snowflake will help co-host this make along. So I'm going to put the hashtag along the bottom purely because it's really long. It is the fancy schmancy crochet blanket mal. Basically, the rules are it's a crochet blanket, and it has to be something other than a granny square, granny stripe, or a neat ripple blanket, or like just a standard ripple blanket. It needs to be something that will challenge you and is something out of your comfort zone. So something like the Magic Carpet Throw is brilliant because it is mosaic crochet. So you are working every 2 rows you are changing colour and trying to make a pattern with it. So there is that one. You also have things like the Sophie's Universe. So let's show you where that is at. I have not touched this for months, but I wanted to show you as an example for this make along. So it could be something like the Sophie. Again, every round is a different type of pattern. Some of the rounds are just half trebles, which is absolutely fine, but the idea is that the overall blanket is not the same thing over and over again. It means you have to try, it must include different types of stitches. So I don't know how we're going to do this though, whether we're going to pull quarterly using the hashtag over on Instagram, or maybe we each pull something at the end of the year. So it's a year-long make-along from what I can remember. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Gemma. Which means I can't enter myself, but I'm still going to be working on my project so you get an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. And yeah, please do use the hashtag over on Instagram. Do check out Sophie of A Spring Snowflake, and of course check out Gemma of the Midnight Diary, all with podcasts on YouTube and Instagram accounts, all by the same name. So very easy to find. Again, I'll put all the links down below for you anyway. So time to move on to what I've actually been doing this month. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is something I do not have. This will be a running theme this month because, yeah, 2 of them were samples for my local yarn shop. 2 of them are gifts for other people. One has been gifted, that was gifted yesterday, and the other one I still currently have because they've now gone on holiday for a few weeks. So I'll post that off once I know they're on their way back. But yeah, so not an awful lot to show you, but hopefully you'll enjoy this episode anyway. Hi. So as these finishes are going to be not here at the end of the month, I thought I'd do a little recording to show you them before they get sent off to their new homes and talk a little bit about them. So first things first, I have made a little dinosaur. I love him so much, I really do. It is a new kit by Hardicraft, and my local yarn shop have just got in a selection of their kits, and I could not wait to do this dinosaur. Now, the reason I have made him is because he is going to be a sample for the shop, which means I don't get to keep him, but I have actually absolutely loved working this up. The construction is so clever, and it's given me loads of ideas on what to do for my own designs if I decide to do macrame. Yeah, so my little brontosaurus. Everything comes in the kit except for a crochet hook and a darning needle, but you get the yarn. The pattern is in 4 different languages, and you get the safety eyes and stuffing. Now the stuffing is vacuum packed, so you have to, there's also a little slice in it ready to rip it open when you need it. What I do recommend though is opening it up a little bit earlier than you're going to need it, so that you can fluff it all up again, because it does get a little bit squished, but once you started fluffing it up, it is absolutely fine. And I still have some left over. I also have a whole ball of yarn left over, so yeah. I just love him. I think he's really cute, and yeah, looking forward to taking him back to the shop. I did him in less than 24 hours, so I actually went to the shop on Saturday, sat there all day working on this. You start at the top and work your way down, and then add the tail on afterwards and his spots. But yeah, I really enjoyed him. I finished him this morning. I finished all of the parts last night though, so I got those all done first, and then finished putting him together this morning. So yeah, really quick make. Obviously I was still sociable though at the shop. I wasn't just working on the dinosaur, but yeah, I think he is really sweet, and I would love to see him in lots of different colours as well. So yeah, as yet unnamed as well. I'm not sure what name he's going to get, but I guess I'll let you know. So the next thing I have to show you is a project bag. Now I've actually made 2 project bags and a couple of little accessories because I didn't want to waste any of the fabric, and this is why. So you might remember this piece that I did, oh, I want to say October, I can't actually remember. I made this piece of fabric weaving following a tutorial by Mr. Domestic over on YouTube, and I absolutely love this technique. You've seen a cushion by me before as well, and I made a pink version of this too. Oh gosh, it might have even been before then, because I did it for the, like, an open evening for the craft shed. Anyway, this is going to the lovely Ali, who won one of my giveaways last year. So yeah, even though that sometimes they take me a little while to do or to put together, you get good stuff. This is completely unique. I'm not sure I'm going to do any more of this. It's so thick. because there are so many layers of fabric in the weaving that it proved quite difficult to get it to sit flat at the top. So I've had to actually tack it in between some of the folds to the lining inside of the bag so that it doesn't get caught in the zip. Yeah, so that's this side anyway. If I spin it around, this is the other side. So I have worked out how to use the embroidery machine at work and been able to create the monogram A for Ali's name. And because it wasn't quite big enough in that fabric, I have just added a few strips left over from the fabric weaving just to finish it off either side and sort of frame it. I have boxed this at 2¼ inches at the bottom, and I think actually it's quite squarish. I think 2 inches would be better. Also, to point out, I've got new labels. Yeah, so they arrived in the post the other day. Inside, I have got some spacey fabric. Can't remember where I got this one from though, but I absolutely love it. It's pinks and purples, and yeah, it's just very, very pretty. So I've done this version for Ali because her favourite colour is purple, and she's obviously a knitter, a crocheter just like me, so I'm really hoping she's going to like this. Now I am giving this to her at EAYF next weekend, at the end of the month, because I just think it would be really fun to give it to her in person, and I'm actually going to get to meet her. So yeah, I have that one. But then because obviously I cut out the corners to make it into a box shape, there were pieces left over, and rather than waste them, I put them together in a teeny tiny little notions pouch. So it has a zip as well, again lined in the space fabric. It is very snug, but I think if you were just putting things like stitch markers in there or a pair of scissors, then that would be absolutely fine. And I just did a simple cross on the back with some wadding fabric so that it was padded on the outside. Not that it really needs to be, but obviously the rest of the patchwork was done on quilting fabric and on wadding. So yeah, I quite like the idea of using the scraps to make mini projects or other little things. So obviously those are the scraps from the outer fabric, but I obviously had the inner fabric still as well. So I just put them together and made a little scissor fob using the lining and added some ribbon to it, again in a different purple. So there's all the purples going on in this set. So we have all of those which are going off to Ali, and I've got a couple of other bits that are going to her as well. So what I might do is take a picture of everything together so that you can see what her giveaway prize was. I actually picked up a couple of needle minders from Emily Cross Ceramics at Ali Pally back in October last year, so they are going to her as well. So yeah, I hope you like them, Ali. So the next thing that I have to show you, and actually I think this might be the last one unless I do something else between now and next weekend. So this is the last project that I have made. It is another project bag, and this is actually supposed to be Emma's birthday / Christmas present from last year. But I was putting it off because when I started working with the fabric at work, it started puckering and I really wasn't liking it. So I decided I needed to do it at home. And today is the only day I have managed to get the table up with the sewing machine. So yeah, life has got in the way, unfortunately. But I have used fabric I picked up at the Knitting and Stitching show at Ali Pally back in October. I believe this is from Lilli's, which is actually kind of a local fabric shop to me. It's in Romford in Essex, and the fabric is a William Morris print with a dark navy background, and the print is called the Strawberry Thief, and I've done it in this because this is one of Emma's favourite William Morris prints. Again, I've got my label in the corner. I've actually done just the 2-inch boxing at the bottom, and I think it gives this nicer shape where it's a bit more what's the word, trapezoid style. And then For the zip, I've used a continuous zip. So this is the same one I used for the retreat bags. That's going back a couple of years. Which is a rose gold teeth. And inside I have lined it with sheepies, just because. But inside is the rest of the stuff that the rest of her gifts for her birthday / Christmas. So I've got a crochet hook with some stitch markers from Bella Coco. I've got the Moana skein, which is Beyond the Reef from Castleview Yarns. And I picked up a little sheepy. He's like a little pincushion. He's got glasses. From my local yarn shop as well, which is all tangled up, just to give her a little sort of kit, as it were. So we have that. And as again, I had some squares left over, which I didn't want to waste, so I've put them together to make another scissor fob. And surprisingly, it kind of is symmetrical on that side, and there's a bird on this side. So again, I've just picked up some black ribbon from my stash to put that together for her. So that will be wrapped up and sent over to her. I think I'm seeing her in a couple of weeks, so I don't know. I thought I'd record just in case I didn't have it for the end of the month, but yeah. So I've got a William Morris style project bag, I've got my fabric weaving project bag, and I've made a dinosaur. So yeah, back to present me. The other thing I made for my local yarn shop was an Easter wreath to put on display over the next 2 weeks for Easter. And Helen, who runs the shop, bought the white wreath frame. So I made all of the components to add to it. And whilst I was at East Anglia Yarn Festival, I made another bunny butt. So all my bunny butts were complete. It has 3 bunny butts. I love saying that word. It has 3 of those. Lots of leaves, some flowers, and a few eggs as well, just to make it really Easter themed. And what I did was attach everything using wire. So I wove wire through the back of each of the components, twisted them all together, and wired it all to the wreath so that it can be reused. So you don't need lots of wreaths about. You can just reuse it and retie it with a piece of wire. So I've thoroughly enjoyed making these. All of the components were from a book by Anna Nikiforovich, which is the Crocheted Reefs book, which I have put back in its place, so I don't have it to hand. But I'll put up some pictures of the process of this Easter wreath and of it on display at the shop. It was so simple to make each of the components. I think it took me just over a week to do so. I started with the bunny butts first. Everything on this wreath, other than the green yarn, was from donated yarn to the shop, so that we can make up samples or like decorations. The green yarn was Deramore's DK yarn, which was the last yarn they brought out before they actually closed down. So I have every colour of the DK. I used the 2 different greens to make all of the leaves, and in the book it suggests having 27 leaves. I actually made 36 leaves because I needed to separate everything a little bit more. I didn't make as many flowers as the one in the book, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So yeah, really enjoyed making this Easter wreath. Right, moving on then. Here is the next finished product or project. The original pattern for this was shipped out as an exclusive pattern for the cozy boxes, which were put together by Gemma of the Midnight Diary with her own hand-dyed yarn and a couple of extras from different other companies as well. I have reworked the pattern because the one for the winter was called Snowflake Beret. This one is subsequently dubbed Sunshine Beret, and it uses Gemma's hand-dyed chunky yarn. And if you've seen the Snowflake Beret, I've got extra points here that make the snowflake pattern, whereas this one is sunshine, so there's an extra round all the way around in this really nice front post pattern. So let me pop it on. I have woven in the ends, but there's still ends because they're so long, and it uses about 150 grams. So you might have seen this on the East Anglia Yarn Festival vlog, but I thought I'd share it here too. So it uses chunky yarn. It is superwash merino. I think it's merino nylon. It might be MCN, merino cashmere nylon, chunky yarn, and I just love the texture that you get. On the underneath, I've done a third loop stitch, so all of the V's sit flat, and I really like this technique. It's just so, it reminds me of knitting, but the wrong way around, which is quite clever. So yeah, that's my new pattern, which I need to write up and actually get out into the world. I need to actually publish the snowflake version as well, but I now have 2 beret patterns to my name, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed working on this. Gemma's yarn is just amazing, absolutely love it. It uses less than 150 grams. I think when I weighed it, bearing in mind this has been pulled back several times to do both patterns, when I weighed it, I still had 63 grams left, so you should have yarn left over from 150 grams of chunky yarn. But yeah, what I'm hoping to do is work it up in all different types of yarn, so that you can, so that there are options for like commercial yarns as well as hand dyed. But yeah, I love it, absolutely love it. This yarn is just so pretty. I can't remember what the yarn is called though, what the name of this yarn is called. You're gonna have to remind me, Gemma, because it is absolutely gorgeous. It is so pretty. So yeah, I think I need to move on to something else, that isn't a beret now. I've got so many ideas up my sleeve, but yeah, design number 2 is done. Just needs to get written up properly and head over to testers so it can be published. And here is the leftover. That's quite a lot for 63 grams. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that one. Right, last finish then, which I technically finished yesterday. Haven't woven in the ends yet, but it should have been on the podcast as a whip for March, and now that I finished it, I'm just going to show it to you anyway. So I literally just used this ball to cast off the final edge. So it does say it's meant to use 3 balls of Starcraft. This is Special XL Tweedy, which is a super chunky yarn. I have used the cream colourway, and it is a pattern from Starcraft, and I have done this one because to me that looked cream, but actually the one on the picture is meant to be made from mushroom, which is like a slightly pinky colour, and I think it's meant to measure 60 inches, but I'm sure it's stretched as I was knitting. So I have quite a long scarf. So I'm going to see if I can wrap it and see what it looks like. I don't know which side is the right side though. That's got to be the right side, yeah. So bearing in mind this has ends everywhere, because I ended up using 2 full balls and just needed the third ball to just finish it off. So I really like this because it's like a spider web type look, and it's got, you have to cast off 4 stitches at the end. So you can see it goes in and out. I really like this. But yeah, it's really long, and it's just something to throw on basically. I don't expect it to be like really warm, but it's something nice to just chuck on over a coat or something. Yeah, I really enjoyed working on it. I think I ripped it back 2 or 3 times because I did the first bit and then I think I'd miscounted and then ripped it back and redid it, and then I got maybe 4 or 5 pattern repeats in, and then I miscounted and the pattern went off one because I just cast off too many because I had a double yarn over instead of a single yarn over, and I'd miscounted the stitches and blah blah blah. So that got pulled back. I'll show photos of that. But no, actually once I got into the pattern it was absolutely fine and I was off. So yeah, I really enjoyed working on it. I do now, I have now decided to make another shawl in knitting. What I wanted to try and do was do this one first because it's super chunky, then move down a step and do one in Aran, because I have the strawberry lemonade shawl which is mostly, it's got lace panels in it and garter panels, so I wanted to practice working lacy style stitches before going back to that, because I've ripped that back a few times now as well. There is a theme here with my knitting. I'm not very confident in it, even though everyone says that I can do it. So if I go wrong somewhere, I don't know how to fix it and I can't knit back, which means I get really frustrated and end up pulling it back to start again because I want it to be right. Now I know people say, but you can fudge stuff and you can find stitches and pick them up, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, I really like this shawl or this scarf. It is ridiculously long though, and I did it in this colourway because I thought it reminded me like of a cobweb. My hair is all up in the air now as well. There we go. But can you see it goes in and out on that edge, which I think is really clever. So yeah, gonna enjoy wearing this in the future. I do need to weave in all the ends, and my cast off is really tight. I should have done a different cast off. I just did a standard one, because that's what I've been doing for the last 4 that it's supposed to do. But you can literally see that's where I had to join my third ball for the last row. There was a knot in one of the balls as well, which is why I have an extra set of tails, which is this one, which is why it's really long. But yeah, it uses like something like size 12mm needles. Yeah, size 12 needles. Yeah, to do the scarf. But like I said, once I got into the pattern, it worked up really quickly. And I've only really done this whilst being at the shop, so that's maybe 3 Wednesdays, because I think I worked on other stuff on Saturdays. So, and I finished it yesterday, which was a Saturday. But yeah, not bad for a few days work, really. That was my last finish for March, even though it was finished in April. So the needles I used were Pony Classics, just because they are big, chunky and plastic. They're inexpensive, and I did pick them up from the yarn shop, so I can make other stuff that needs a size 12 needle now, because I didn't have any. Now I do. Moving on then to whips, my work in progress is I have done 13 hours on the Mighty Samurai this month. I had plans to do an hour a day, but March has just been chaotic at best, so I have not done an hour a day. I've done 13 hours. I was trying to bank on weekends and it just didn't work. So this is where it is at. I will see if I can put a picture over the top, or at least next to it, so you can see what it looked like before March, because I did show it on last month's podcast as well. So this is where we're currently at with 13 hours. So yeah, maybe over Easter I'll do some more of this, and maybe at least get it up to date in terms of the hours, but we will see, because I'm not being overly strict on myself with this. I am putting in an hour as and when I can. Yeah, but that's currently where it's at. We can now see we've got the hilt of the sword, both swords coming in. I've worked up most of this bit. There's just a little bit here to do, and I've started to build up on the other side as well. So yeah, I think it's coming on all right. So that is part of my 100-day project for this year, and hopefully I will get that finished in 100 hours. It really shouldn't need 100 hours, but yeah, we'll see. Another one of my whips for this month is the baby booties that I was working on last month. I'm using Luxury Baby Bo Peep DK. I've just dropped a bit. Now, I think I mentioned I had one baby booty, like the main base of the booty, finished last month. And then I went and did the second booty and realised they were completely different. So I have had to make a third booty. And then what I decided to do, so here's my two that match. Two little booties that match. And what I decided to do was, rather than just bin the other one, I decided to work the next pieces from that. So I have done the tab, which I believe is the little one, for each booty, which gets folded in half and stitched into the back so that you can pull it on and off. And then I have done the strap, which goes over. I'm not doing a very good job of this, am I? Over the top, with a button in place to hold it together. And I have done both of those for each booty. So all I need to do now is make the actual elephant that sits on the front. That's it for each of them. And I'm going to continue using the yarn from the third boot to do so, and then move into the ball once I finish doing that. So yeah, I do have progress on my baby booties, although I am now worried that actually by the time I finish them, they'll be too small for who they're intended for. But I guess that doesn't really matter. They're still cute. I'm still going to make them. So they are from the 20 to Crochet book, which is Baby Shoes by Val Pierce. And they are these ones on the back, which are going to be absolutely adorable when they are finished. So the last thing that kind of is considered a whip is some Easter projects I've been working on. These are actually pieces I've been trying to design. So I have tried to make a little bunny rabbit, and what I have written these up as I've done them. What I will do is do a second one to go on the back, make a little pom-pom tail, and see if I can put like a little face on it to make them 3D. I've also done an egg shape as well. Now I've just used the chunky yarn, which is by Stylecraft, which I used for the donuts because I've still got loads left over. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I've been making little cute decorations. I've just got these two at the moment because I got a little distracted with the reef. But yes, at some point I will go back to these, and maybe they'll pop up on the channel as well for you. But yeah, just a couple of Easter decorations in the making. And I believe that is it for whips. Not an awful lot, to be honest, because I've been working on all of the components for the Easter wreath, and I've been doing my shawl. There's not been an awful lot else going on. So I've kind of been monogamous because I've done one project and finished it, and then done another project and finished it. So yeah, that is where we are at with whips and finishes for March, which means we're moving on to acquisitions. Now I look at my list and think, oh, that's not actually a lot. But when you remember that you went to the Stitch Festival at the beginning of the month at the Business Design Centre in Islington, and then went to EAYF at the end of the month, this is why I had no money last month, and I will have no money this month coming. So yes, I have purchases from EAYF in here, which are on the EAYF vlog. And I have purchases in here from the Stitch Festival, which are on the Stitch Festival vlog. So I won't repeat those, but I will show you everything else. And most of this has just come through the door and been posted. It's not stuff I've actually been out and purchased in hand, which is probably why I forget stuff. As I get every month, I get the mini skein club from Vicky Brown Designs, and oh, look at the postcard. So Vicky has been working up some of her minis into little hexagons, and at EAYF they were actually on the wall as this panel that had been started and put together. So we have a proper spring box. They all look like different flowers. It's so pretty. We have teal seas, red rooster, bright fizz, blue Hawaiian, and crisp air. So that's 5, I think they're 10 gram minis. Yeah, 5 10-gram minis. So that's 50 grams of yarn in there, which I'm looking forward to trying to print in something. I think I've got a few months now of the random minis. So I need to look at cancelling this one. Not just to save me a little bit of money, but because I now need to find something to put these into. Yeah, and not get overwhelmed, I think, is probably the reason why, of having more stuff coming in that I can't put anywhere, which is why for Easter holidays I'm hoping to try and organise some of my stash. We'll see how that goes though. Next up is the Blanket Club minis from Beret of Truly Hooked. So apologies for the rustling, but I haven't opened it yet. I think we were into bluey colours last month. Oh, these are nice. So we have colour 5 and colour 6. 5 at the bottom, 6 at the top. So they're a bit more aqua greeny colour than is showing on the screen. They're showing up quite blue. They are a bit more aqua greeny, but they are really pretty. This bottom one has the blue flecks in it as well. So yeah, they're really nice. So that's 3 months now. I need to look at what blanket pattern I'm going to put them into. I'm really tempted to try and find a mosaic pattern and put them with a solid, so they can all sort of variegate up. Oh, that would be really nice. And it would also be appropriate for the fancy schmancy cow. So yeah, that was my next piece, my next delivery. Then I got 2 boxes from Siobhan's Crafts. So I ordered the Care Bear one again. This one has a green Care Bear on the front of the box, but that's not the colour Care Bear we had. So for March we had Tender Heart. Here is this orangey brownie bear with a red heart on his belly. So the tissue paper is orange. We have another tie-dyed bag with an orangey cupcake on it. We have the gorgeous yarn that represents him, with the bright red in there for the heart on his belly, which is really nice. And we have our stitch markers again for the month, which are just really sweet. I love the fact that everything goes together, everything is themed really well. What I'm going to do is get the first 3 months out and photograph them so that I can have a look at what I'm going to put them into. What I really want to do is make a Care Bears jumper, and put them all into one project. Yeah, that's what I think I want to do, because I want to be able to wear this. I have got the DK version as well, so all my yarn weights are DK for this club. The other one I got is just an order I put in when she did a shop update, and I have been trying to get one of her project bags for a while now. But whilst I was there, I was like, I can't just buy a project bag. So I also bought a skein of Excitement, which has all of the colours. I absolutely love this. I really, really do. It's called Excitement. It is DK 100 grams, which is 225 meters. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. I also picked up a Jurassic yarn pin badge. I'm not sure this will focus on it but I will try and take photos of everything I got. I love it. It's a T-Rex knitting with a ball of yarn. What more is there to love? So I have those two. And then she also had some new necklaces. So I picked up a crocheter one, which is on glittery acrylic, which I love. I haven't worn it yet. It's still in the box. But I also got a bag of sweeties in my package. So those are going to be eaten later. And this was the reason that I was on the shop. It's still in the packet though. So I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. I wanted to get a project bag, as I said earlier, and when I saw the Pikachu one or the Pokemon ones, I was like, yeah, I need that. It's so cool. So it has got like loads of Pokemon on it. Look at that. Oh, I love this fabric. It's so cool. Oh, it's reversible as well, because that's the outside. This is the inside. It's just Pikachu. And it's got drawstring toggles at the top. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't know how she does them so that they're reversible. I'll have to have a think about that. But I love it. Absolutely love it. It is so fun. It is so me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, now I just need people to do Pokemon related yarn, and I'll be well there. Two more things. I have, okay, this came from directly from Eva, or Eva. It is Eva, directly from Eva in Perth. This is made by Ninja. It is bright red. I absolutely love red. Red is my favourite colour, but I don't have a lot of yarn that is red. So when Ninja did Eva's Lippy, I had to get some. It is bright red. It is 50% Corriedale, 50% British Mohair. 395 meters, which is 100 grams, and it is called Eva's Lippy. It is the reddest yarn I have ever seen, and I got two because I wanted to try and put them together in something. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It is so soft that it has to be something special, or I might put it with something and make it as a contrast. But now this was around the same time as the Perth Collab Club yarn was coming out, so I also got two skeins of the Perth Collab Club, which I believe is based on the album by Mika. It is from Knit Me Sane, and it is called Oh Billy Brown. It is, I've got DK weight, and I got two. Also check out the label, so shiny. Yeah, so it's called Oh Billy Brown, which I believe is a Mika album, which has so many colors. It is just amazing. I absolutely love it. So yeah, something truly special is going to be made with these. I need to put all of this year's Collab Club stuff together. I've tried to put all of last year's together. I think it's all in now. No, it's not. But it's full. My Perth bag is full. And I think I've got 3 more that need to go in there. So, yeah. I think I need another bag. But anyway, this is March's Collab Club yarn from Perth Festival of Yarn, dyed up by Knit Me Sane. And that is it. Yeah. Been a very long month. It's been a very long quarter, I think, to be honest, in terms of work. and the last week of March has been really difficult, but yeah. Anyway, so I mentioned earlier that the shop have asked me to do some samples. They've also given me a ball of more, which they gave to me on Wednesday, because they found a whole box of this, which is not out and it hasn't really been selling. So I figured that if I did something in the yarn so people could see how it worked up, then it might shift it a bit better, because the colours are really lovely. It's kind of variegated, but also sort of twisted two colours together. So I am going to, there is a knot, a joint in here as well, which will be interesting when I get to that. I have decided, with the help of friends, but also the fact that I had an epiphany in the morning, I was like, why did we not think of this pattern? I'm going to do Gemma's pattern, which is called the Spring Fling Scarflet. Yeah, which is a thin, long, sort of narrow scarf that you can wear in the springtime. This is Aran yarn, and it's designed to use 100 grams of Aran yarn, which this is. What is quite nice though is Gemma has also modified it so that it can be used with any yarn type. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a nice red one for the shop, and because it's a free pattern over on Payhip and on Ravelry, I will put links on. I'm going to make up a little tag for it so that people can go and find the pattern, so that Gemma gets all credit for that pattern. And we're done. Yeah, I have got 2 weeks off holiday now because it is Easter holidays. I am going to try and tidy up. Doesn't always work out. It works out to the point where it's tidy, but then the next day it's not tidy. So yeah, we'll see how that goes over the next 2 weeks. Anyway, I'm hoping I can do it in like a few days and then actually use the space. Really need to clear the desk because the desk is just piled high with stuff. I can see it from here. It's not good. It's really not good. What I do know is there are lots of duvets in there in the packet still, because I'd hoped to make garments with them, but that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. So I'm going to go through them and put them on Facebook and see if anyone would like them. Yeah, that has been this month, and I seem to be coming down with a cold. I'm very nasally, but it might just be hay fever because it's that time of year. So yeah, we'll see. My feet are also quite itchy, but that's been an ongoing thing for a little while now, and I'm not sure why, because all the doctors gave me was some cream and some tablets. So for this next week or so, I'm going to try those and see if they do anything. Right, so plans for April, other than tidying up, of course. I have 2 weeks. I am going to make up that sample for the shop in the Scarflet by Gemma. I want to try and write up the pattern for the Sunshine Beret and get some work done on Mighty Samurai. Those are my 3 main things for this month. Anything else will be a bonus. But that is it. That is my 3 main targets, I guess, my goals for April. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little episode. I don't know if it's going to be as long as my usual ones. I'm really hoping it's not, and it's a bit shorter, but there we go. Yeah, I completed the free session course for that I was referred to for my depression and everything, but I don't think it's helped, and I need to get in touch with them and let them know that and see what steps are going to be put in place to move forward. But other than that, yeah, just keep crafting. Anyway, I'll see you all again next month. Take care. Bye.